In this video I will show you how to load a virtual appliance into Oracle VirtualBox. Oracle VirtualBox exists in for practically every platform. In this case we're dealing with a Linux platform, and the package or the virtual machine that we want to introduce sits on an external USB hard disk. It's called Win7 Enterprise. So we locate the file, we then say open, click on next. It's a machine that I developed in July 15 for Malus, and we click on import. The time it takes to import the machine depends on your processor and on your operating system. Here it will take something like 5 minutes, and so I will pause the video meanwhile. The virtual machine now has been imported. We start it by clicking on it and then hitting the start button. Put it up here so that we can see it. So the machine is starting up. No password is required to access Windows 7 Enterprise. Now, since a hard or driver change has been sensed by Microsoft Windows 7, it wants us to activate the Windows version, which we can do at this stage. Retype your product key. Now, for licensing reasons or software licensing reasons, I will not show the product key, but you find it in the Mac license text that I included, and it starts with P84 and it ends on BYK. So I stop the recording while I type in the product key. Once you hit the next key, the activation of the product takes place. On the bottom right you see this copy of Windows is not genuine at this stage because it's still checking the product key. And then after a few moments the activation was successful screen appears. You see the logo here, and meanwhile on the bottom right the warning has disappeared. We can then access the Microsoft Office 2013. As an example, let me show you Excel 2013. Likewise, since it's a virtual machine, so the environment, in as far as Microsoft is concerned, has changed, and they want us to activate the Office Professional 2013. Just say I want to activate it over the internet. You click on next. The activation takes place, and a few moments later the product is fully activated. So if we leave now Office, VirtualBox has got an interesting feature so that the Win7 Enterprise version can communicate with your underlying operating system. Now if you click on this one, since it was designed originally on a Windows machine, the share folder was linked to network drive Z, which obviously on this Linux machine does not exist. But how can we connect the two, for instance here on the Linux, and it's pretty similar on the Macintosh. You go to shared folders and you go to shared folders settings. So we want a machine folder and we want to add a drive. The drive we want to add is the folder called Dropbox on the local machine. Not Dropbox, sorry. It is the downloads folder, this one. So, and we want to link it, so we say open. And we want to make this downloads folder auto mount next time around and also make it permanent. So we click on OK. So we're now linked with the downloads folder on the underlying Linux system. And now if we go to the downloads folder here, we see on the bottom here the VirtualBox server, and the VirtualBox server is linked to the downloads folder. And for instance, now if we look at this file here, which is on the underlying Linux server, we can copy and paste things very easily. And we can, for instance, rename this one. So I make it HK test. Rename to HK test. Rename once again, sorry, HK test. So that has been created then on the Windows in the virtual machine. I drag it back into the Linux server underneath, and if we look at the file in the file system here under Linux, so it's within the downloads folder, and we had the HK which we uploaded, and we changed it to HK test, and we downloaded it again into Linux. Now when we're finished working with the virtual machine, all we need to do then is we need to shut it properly off by saying shut down, and that's basically how the virtual machine Windows 7 Enterprise works within Oracle.